Good evening to everyone. So today we are going to discuss the topic of ICSE board 10th class physical education. Subject is physical education. ICSE board 10th class topic is sports training. Today we will discuss meaning and principle of sports training. First of all, the meaning of sports training. So we will discuss the meaning. Before discussing the meaning of sports training, we should know what is training. So training means whenever we are getting some kind of practical or theoretical knowledge, so that is called training. So whenever we are getting any kind of practical or theoretical knowledge, that is called training. When we are talking about sports training, the topic is too different from the theoretical and practical knowledge. It is more than any kind of practical or theoretical knowledge. So why it is different? Because it is not only giving us the practical and theoretical knowledge, it is enhancing the overall performance of the player or athlete, and it also teaches about the different kind of diets, the apparatus, the machines, the equipments which we are going to use, the techniques, skill, tactics, so basic skills, feedback, everything is including in the sports training when we are talking about sports training. So generally, if we are saying what is sports training, so it is a training method that is based upon the scientific principles in a systematic order. So whenever we are getting any kind of knowledge of sports in a systematic and scientific way. So it is a scientific and systematic ways to enhance the performance of a athlete, a player. So it is quite different from the another trainings. So training methods are based on scientific principles, and these are the various aspects. So various aspects like specific individual care. What is specific individual care? That every one individual is different from another. So like my fitness level will be different from yours. So when we are going to take a training together, so this will kept in the mind by the trainer that the both are different. So individually, like with the age factor, that juniors and seniors have a different training pattern, different training schedules. The girls and boys, they have a different time and different kind of training. So it is including in a sports training. So we can't give the fourth class and the 10th class students same kind of training. We can't give the girls and boys same kind of training, because whereas the girls have a more flexibility and balance, the flexibility and balance is the component of the fitness. Other hand, the boys have a more speed and strength naturally, so we can't give them same exercise at a same time. So it will provide a knowledge of individual care, improve a specific fitness. Specific fitness means in the different kind of sports we required different kind of fitness components. Like in some sports we need speed, in some we need endurance, and somewhere we need a flexibility, a balance. So every sports have a requirement of different kind of sports, sorry, fitness components. So these fitness components can only get by the specific training. If we will training for the endurance, then we will get the endurance. If we will training for the strength, we will get a strength. So that is a factor that we should do our sports training in a scientific and systematic way. So next is that psychological feedback, that it is included in the concept of sports training. A person will get a scientific and psychological feedback, technical help, and good machine and apparatus. Considering the climate has a major role in the sports training. So when we are providing a program, when we are making a schedule of sports training, so we should consider the climate. So which kind of climate, like in a hot weather, excessive hot weather in the summer, so we will keep a small training session. It can be kept in the early in the morning or late in the evening. So we can't keep the training sessions in the afternoons, in the noon times, because it will be too hot, and due to too hot there will be over sweating, and there will loss of water, body will dehydrate very soon, and a athlete will face a problem of cramp, muscle cramp is whenever the minerals and the liquids are dehydrated from the body in the form of sweating. So these things, keep in mind the diet and the safety means how to stay safe while getting a training. So there are different kind of definitions by the different philosophers in the field of physical education. So we will discuss the definition of Matthew, that the sports training is the basic form of preparation of a sportsman. Sports training is the basic form of preparation of a sportsman. So sports training is a basic form. It is a base to enhance or to prepare a sports person, or to enhance a performance of sports person or athlete. So there are a number of definitions. So what is the conclusion? The conclusion is to enhance the overall performance by the systematic and scientific way. So we can say sports training is a way in which we are getting systematic and scientific training of any kind of game or sports. So now we will discuss that how it is divided. The mainly there are three cycles: macro cycle, meso, and micro. So macro means it is bigger, bigger cycle. Macro cycle. So what is macro cycle? Whenever we are planning uh, any kind of training for some months, I mean to say that can be 6 month, 8 month, 12 month. So whenever we are keeping plan for some months, that is called macro. Then is next is meso. In meso, we are keeping the plan of weeks, that 4 week plan, 6 week plan. Then last is microcycle. In microcycle, we are keeping what we will do in a day, days planning. That first of all we are performing warm up, then the journal warming up, specific journal conditioning, specific conditioning. So after that, we can divide the sports training in three periods. Three main periods are there. First of all, preparatory period, then competition, then off season or transitional. So what is preparatory period? Preparatory, with the name it can be clear that preparation of any kind of sports or game. Sorry. So what is the main part of preparation? The basic point of preparatory period is to gain a adequate fitness level. So physical fitness and skill efficiency for the competition will be gained in the preparatory period. So preparatory period further divided into three phases: first, second, and third. So what is in that three phases included? The first of all, there will be development of general abilities relating to the physical fitness like strength and endurance along with the basic skills. So it is perfected in 4 to 6 month practice. So required it is required, the phase one is required 4 to 6 months. 4 to 6 months. The next phase is second phase. In this phase of training, the player develops a specific physical fitness abilities like speed, flexibility. So these second phase, the player will gain of speed, flexibility, coordinations. So along with the mastery of skill. So first wave in first phase there will be a basic skill, then there will be mastery over advanced skill in second phase. So in the third phase, the player in the third phase, a player will learn a player will learn the tactics and the strategies. So tactics and strategies are used during the competition. What it must be learned during the preparatory period. So next, if we will talk about next is competition period. Competition period. So competition, it means after getting a preparation of a sports, the player is ready for the competition. So in this time, the player is achieved a top performance will be achieved by the a player. So there will be first practice in this competition. There will be intramurals, inter-house, inter-school friendly matches will be there. Or if we are talking about the other teams, there will be some kind of series of the matches. So many matches are there which are called the friendly matches. So these after these matches, the players are correcting their mistakes. If they have any kind of weak point, they will be improved before the actual competition. So when they are participating in actual competition, they already getting a knowledge of training. Then the transitional or off season. So transitional or off season means when there is a no competition, all competitions are over, so players are relaxing their self. So in this period, what they are doing, so they are correcting their mistakes. If they are losing the match or somewhere they have lose points in their performance, they are correcting that mistakes. So after that, The players are relaxing and doing other activities, including the different games for recreational purpose and to maintain a fitness level. So next is our principle of sports training. Principles of sports training. Principles of sports training. First of all, the principle of individuality. So individuality means person to person there is a difference. Person to person there is a difference in the fitness level. There is a difference in the skill level. So we can't give the same kind of practice or training to the each and everyone. First of all, we should improve their fitness level, will make the full team the same fitness level, then only we will do the next step of the sports training. As per we are knowing that with the age factor and the with the sex, that girls and boys, they have a different kind of fitness level. So we can't give them same kind of practice at the same time. So we will make a different training schedule or plan for the different individuals. So next is our specificity. So specificity means when we are working for any particular any particular requirement of the game or sports, so we are giving a training with the necessity of or with the need of that particular game. So keep in mind that we are giving practice to long race athlete, the marathon runner. So we will keep their practice for the endurance. Okay, if we are giving practice through a sprinters, we will keep in mind the speed, strength, stamina, power. So these components, when we are talking about the long race, so we'll keep in mind the endurance, the strength, the different components which we are going to achieve. We will work for that specific components of the sports. We are moreover we will work for the that specific exercises which are beneficial for that particular sport or game. So that is a specificity. So next is the principle of progression. So progression means when we are giving any kind of training, it must be from easy to harder. So step, whether it is step by step or linear, but it must be from very easy exercise to hard exercises. And the exercises hardness will be slowly gradually will be increase. So in the very first we can't give them very hard training. Next is overload. Overload. So this principle states that the training workout or load should be gradually increased in a progressive or linear way according to the adaptation. We should gradually increase the load over the athlete for the better performance. What with the previous adaptation, if already achieved, means the player is already running for 2 hours with the medium pace. So we will increase the time, we will increase the load, we will increase the distance. What if he already able to run 2 hours or some distance which we already projected for the previous schedule? So we should increase the load, we must put overload. So it must be given in two ways, like step method, progressive method, the step, or the linear method. Next is adoption. Next principle is called adoption. So what is the principle of adoption is, it means that we should increase the load depending upon the adaptation of the previous workout or load. For example, when a player seems that the previous load is easy for him, like from the last 2 months, I was running for a 2 hours or 20 kilometers. When it is easy for me, I already adapt that conditions. So now the load must be increased. I whether I will increase the distance, whether I will increase the speed, or I will increase the time for the training. So the principle of adaptation is saying that if previous load is easy for the player, then we should increase the load. High overload must be avoided. What we should give a more load. If we will provide a high overload on the player, the performance going to be down. The next is recovery. So this is one of the main point whenever we are giving any kind of training. Keep in mind that after a hard training of one session or one day, one evening or morning, a player need adequate rest and sleep, and it must be recover from the previous tiredness. Then only the player will be ready for the next day's work. If player will not take a proper rest or sleep, or there will be no recovery, then he or she will not ready for the next day's work. So keep in mind that player must be take proper rest. Next is reversibility. The next principle of the training is a reversibility. So what is a reversibility? So according to the workout or load must be done in the sufficient repetitions. It means the activity should be repeated again and again, so proper adaptation and acclimation should be taken up the individual. The next schedule should be practiced before starting new schedule or workout or load. So it means the which exercises or trainings we are providing, it must be repeated again and again. Then only we must be started the next program. First, the player will purely undergo that training easy for him and must be learn the repeated over the time. Then only we can introduce the new exercises, new training schedules, new programs. Next is variance. So variance is a very important, as per if we are performing the same exercises every for a long time, what we will fe- feel, what we will face the boredom. The we will feel that there is a boring things when we are repeating same exercise. So to break the boredom of the player, we should introduce new kind of activities, exercises. So there should be a proper entertainment during the training program. Then only student or a player will be learn with the full interest. Next is the intensity, frequency or intensity. So frequency and intensity. What is frequency, intensity or frequency? Frequency or intensity of a training. According to the this principle, the frequency of training should be increased for fast improvement depending upon the adaptation of load. So if a player is already adopted the previous condition, then the frequency or intensity must be increased. It must be increased. The repetitions, the time, the duration, it must be increased. The next is continuity. Continuity is also a basic fundamental of sports training. So it is a necessity. Principle is a necessity. So continuity, if you are not continued for a long time, you will not get adaptation of the previous exercises. Like if I will take leaves from the training sessions, I will not perfect in the some skills, and my fitness level will be also decrease. If I will compare with the other players, those are continuously going to the ground, going for the training, the same training, there will be lack of fitness in my body, there will be a lack of skill in me. So it must be continue. Active participation, active participation, active participation, active participation. So if we are not participating actively, if we will not participating actively, then what happen? We will not learn all the skills. It means we must be interested in the particular training. We must be interested in a particular training, then only we can learn the skill, then only we will increase our strength, speed, stamina, flexibility, the all components of the fitness we will increase if we will determined to do the participation actively, if we have interest. So next is periodization. So what is periodization? Next is a periodization. So periodization is a proper timing to achieve some kind of object. Periodization means I set one object of strength, that I have a maximum strength within 6 months, within 3 months. I must be have a this much endurance or speed in these months. I must be get the flexibility within 2 months. So I set a time. So that is a period, time period. It is related to this principle is related to time. So I set a one objective of fitness component and I will achieve within that particular time. Then only the sports training is effective. So this is called periodization. Next is regularity. So regularity is as per we discussed the point continuity. So with the continuity, it is related with the community that must be irregular. If we have a irregular schedule of the training, then we will lack some kind of skills. Maybe at the some point we will lack some fitness components. Next is warm up and cooling down. one of the main basic point one of the main basic point of the sports training, that before starting any kind of sports or participating in any kind of sports, we should warm up our body. So what is warm up? So when we are doing some kind of light exercises before participating in any game, because when we are in a normal position, our heart and respiratory system, circulatory and respiratory systems are working at a normal speed. But immediately when we are participating in any kind of sports or game, running, something else, so our body need more supply of oxygen to provide more energy. So for this production of energy, the circulatory system and the respiratory system working very fast to supply more oxygen. So these systems took time to reach at the top speed. If we will not perform warm up, then there will be a problem in the supply of oxygen, because we our body need more energy. So what you will feel the suffocation feeling, the second wind feeling. Second wind is when we are feeling breathlessness, means there is a no adjustment in the demand and supply. Demand of the body to produce energy and demand of oxygen in the body is more, what the supply is less. So we should do the warm up before playing or participating in any kind of sports or games. So next is cooling down. After finishing our game, we should participate in cooling down exercises like gradually in the progressive method. We increase the body temperature, we increase the circulatory system's speed, we increase the respiratory system speed, we should decrease everything. We should bring down the temperature of the body, we should decrease the speed of respiratory and circulatory system in a proper step by step, back step, down step methods. So there are some important things about sports training. That sports training, it build up the strength and endurance, it improves the skill level. These are the importance of the sports training. So it will build the confidence for the competition. Means when we are participating regularly in the some kind of game, it will build up the confidence how to face the other players. When we are playing friendly matches, we are already prepared for the competitions. So next is it will provide a good knowledge of the rule and regulations. A player will get a proper knowledge of the rule and regulation. It will increase the blood circulation. It will also improve the flexibility and agility. It will tone up the muscle. So if we are getting a proper training, it will tone the muscles. The faster removal of the waste products when the circulatory system is working for faster recovery from the injuries, improved immunity, build a motivation. It will sorry, make us motivated. And there will be develop of specific fitness components like and ac- according to the requirement of the different games, we will achieve the strength, power, flexibility, stamina, endurance, balance, agility, accuracy. So each and every game required a different kind of components, the mixture of different components. Then only we can understood what is the importance of sports training. So there will be less injury when we are learning the rule and regulations. We are doing performing warm up. We have a knowledge of diet, which kind of diet we are going to take, and how much diet we have to take, the proteins we have to take, the fats, the carbs, the minerals, the vitamins, what is the importance of water. So how we can save ourselves from the various kinds of diseases or sports related injuries. We will improve the diet. There will be a more concentration when we are participating actively. So there will be a more concentration in the mind. So this is all about the sports training, that scientific and systematic training which enhance the performance of individual is called sports training. So we will discuss the principle of sports training. Their names were first of individuality, then specificity, progression, overload, adaptation, recovery, reversibility, variance, principle of intensity or frequency, principle of continuity, principle of active participation, principle of periodization related to the time period, the object, etc., regularity, warm up and cooling down. So this is our sports training chapter for the ICSC students. It is very beneficial. The 10th class physical education, their chapter number 5th is sports training and principle. This is also very beneficial for the various sports persons. So next, if anyone is interested in the physical education of 10th class or want to ask some kind of questions, we will discuss in the next live session about sports safety in sports, the chapter number 6, or the body types, fitness, growth and development. So there are a number of chapters. So if anyone want to suggest any kind of topic, so they can comment me, and please subscribe my channel to support me. So thank you. Maybe you people will understood what is sports training and what are the principles and what is the importance of sports training. So moreover, I suggest that you must be take more reading of the books. It is beneficial for you to write the exam. So whenever we have a more reading, then we have a more ability of writing anything. So thank you for the today's session. I hope that those students will watch my this live session. They will understood this topic very easily. So thank you for today.